Hello, I am Ashraf Dakdak aka DK, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to answer reading comprehension questions. It is no surprise that many students find it hard to deal with reading comprehension questions. On the one hand, students either waste more time on answering comprehension questions or they simply overlook the most of them, losing a bunch of marks here and there. The good news, on the other hand, just like other components of the language, reading comprehension can be fully achievable. And that's of course by developing some basic skills and strategies which I will be addressing throughout this video. As well as, the more practice you do, the better you get, right? So now, you, yes, you, I'm talking to you. Please don't hesitate to leave us a thumbs up and subscribe for more such videos. Then get your pen and paper ready and let's get started. It seems to be imperative as a first step to skim through the text, and that implies, first, to have a glance at the title, pictures, headings, source, captions, bold types, graphs and charts, whatever available, and guess out the potential gist of the passage. Second, to start reading the topic sentence, usually it is the first or second sentence of a paragraph. Now jot down your guesses on your draft sheet, then continue reading the rest of the first paragraph, and that's because it could contain the thesis statement, or if you like, the blueprint of the entire passage, together with the last paragraph, because we usually restate the bullet points of our writings briefly in the concluding paragraph. Now, while reading the rest of the text, we'll note down a name tag on the margin of each paragraph summarizing its main idea, as well as highlight dates, numbers, proper nouns, abbreviations, so that we can easily get back to the exact location where our answers would exist. Now, we'll finally skim through the questions quickly to go to the easiest exercise, and this will mark our transition from the skimming for general ideas process to the scanning for specific details one. Scanning is fundamentally meant for locating specific details, and that has been made possible thanks to questions. So without further delay, let's learn how to scan for details and thus answer comprehension questions. First, check if the question has any keywords that you have been through earlier while skimming. Second, make use of the name tags to quickly locate your answers without having to survey the whole text again. Finally, never get stuck anywhere because you are time-bound, so you'd better move on to the next exercise, and once you're done, you can come back to that challenging question. By the way, the next video will address the types of questions laid down on the baccalaureate national exams of English here in Morocco. In this section, we'll cover the do's and don'ts of answering comprehension questions. First, pay attention to your spelling. Sometimes we really miss word spelling, and that could be the reason of us flunking, though we really understood the text. In a similar fashion, grammar is equally as important as spelling, so be careful of where you put the S, because many students put the S on uncountable nouns or just throw it at random. So beforehand, keep in mind checking whether the word is plural, singular, or uncountable, and then act accordingly. Also, punctuation has its fair share of the equation. When answering, make sure to answer in full sentences instead of phrases and chunks. If you found a direct answer to your question in the text, make sure to quote it in inverted commas. It is very important to remember that your answers should be passage-based. Don't answer according to an experience you've got or a book you've read, maybe, because that won't be valid. Time management is a must actually, because in the day of the exam we are time bound. So in order to enable effective time management and improve our skills in reading comprehension, we should be aware of the potential areas of improvement. So keep it up and have fun learning. The hot key of conquering the areas of improvement is basically practice. You know, practice makes perfect, right? So what kind of practice should we do? Well, first, make sure to make use of the techniques mentioned in this video, namely skimming, scanning, and technicalities. Second, expand your vocabulary bank. You may wonder, how could I do this? Well, this will take us to the third point. Both intensive reading and extensive reading will give us ample opportunities to acquire more vocabulary, phrases, and expressions in context. You may have noticed I mentioned two key terms that you are maybe unfamiliar with: intensive reading and extensive reading. So, how can these improve our reading comprehension? Alright, intensive reading is simply reading for studying. So when you are reading something intensively, you use your dictionary and define the difficult terms. You reread and analyze the details. You get into the what and whys of the details. Along the way, you learn an array of language material, including grammar, vocabulary, functions, cultural aspects, etc. In a different light, extensive reading isn't meant primarily for studying, but for pleasure, and for appreciating the rhetorical text, and for acquiring the flow and improving the pace of reading speed. So, I may dare say, extensive reading makes you a good skimmer, while intensive reading makes you a good scanner. Finally, to consolidate your practice, make good use of note-taking and reviewing, because we learn a lot by habit and emphasis. So, the more you run into your notes, the more importance is given to them by the mind. Then, eventually, the information recorded become an integral part of your cognition. So that brings us to the end of this lesson. Thank you for watching and subscribe for more such videos. You may visit my website down below in the description for some listening practice to improve your listening comprehension. Well, that's all from me. Till next time, take care.